Trump, Biden, Macron, Erdogan, and Putin are all employees of the same cabal. Trump, Biden, Macron, Erdogan, Putin, Trudeau, Keir Starmer are all employees of the same cabal. The Machiavellian chessboard, how the cabal orchestrates leadership. Throughout history, the emergence of powerful leaders has often been portrayed as the result of democratic will, revolutionary spirit, or personal ambition. However, a deeper examination suggests that many of these figures did not rise organically, but were placed into power by a hidden cabal, the banking dynasties of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. These elites, acting as master puppeteers, have ensured that key leaders like Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Javier Milei serve not as independent agents, but as carefully positioned assets in a global power game. The shadow architects of power. The Rothschild family, with its roots in 18th-century banking, has long manipulated global financial markets, influencing wars, revolutions, and government policies. The Rockefellers, emerging in the 19th century through Standard Oil, built an empire that extended into finance, foreign policy, and media. Through organizations such as the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the World Economic Forum, these families have engineered political landscapes to their advantage. Their power extends far beyond the appointment of leaders. They manipulate entire populations, keeping them subdued through controlled conflicts, economic crises, and fabricated narratives designed to maintain their dominance. The global tools of enslavement. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, and the United Nations, UN, are not the benevolent institutions they are portrayed to be. Instead, they serve as the economic and political weapons of the cabal, systematically indebting nations and stripping them of their sovereignty. Through predatory lending practices, the IMF and World Bank force developing nations into economic servitude, demanding harsh austerity measures that cripple local economies while ensuring foreign corporate dominance. The UN, under the guise of diplomacy and peacekeeping, facilitates military interventions and regime changes whenever a nation dares to resist the cabal's control. These organizations do not serve the people, but the same elite families that control global finance and industry. Countries that refuse to comply are met with economic warfare, sanctions, or outright military intervention under humanitarian pretexts. The ultimate goal is not development or peace, but complete financial and political enslavement of nations. Erdogan, a manufactured strongman. Recep Tayyip Erdogan's rise from Istanbul's mayor to Turkey's dominant leader was no accident. Much like Israeli spy Eli Cohen, who infiltrated Syria's leadership under Mossad's guidance, Erdogan appears to have been molded by intelligence networks and elite financial backers. His tenure has strategically transformed Turkey into a military powerhouse, serving Western and Eastern interests in a carefully balanced act. His current reliance on Trump's potential return and the EU's sudden appreciation of Turkey highlights his role as a pawn in a greater scheme, ensuring that Ankara remains a controlled but formidable regional player. Putin and Trump, controlled opposition. Vladimir Putin's ascent from an unknown KGB officer to Russia's president in 1999 was swift and calculated. With the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Russia's oligarchs, many with deep ties to Western banking interests, needed a leader who could project nationalism while ensuring that the country's resources remained within a controlled economic framework. Putin fit the bill, using his image as a nationalist strongman while maintaining covert alliances with Western financial powers. Similarly, Donald Trump, marketed as the anti-establishment savior, was in reality a creation of the very elites he claimed to oppose. His career, riddled with financial bailouts from Rothschild-affiliated banks, suggests that his presidency was less about disrupting the system and more about controlling opposition through managed chaos. Milei and the illusion of change. Javier Milei's unexpected rise in Argentina follows the same blueprint, a leader appearing out of nowhere, presented as an outsider who will challenge the status quo. Yet, his neoliberal policies align seamlessly with the economic doctrines long promoted by globalist institutions. His placement ensures that Argentina remains tethered to the financial machinations of the elites, disguised under the banner of libertarianism and economic reform. War, the ultimate business model. The true power of the cabal lies in its ability to manipulate and control global populations like sheep, using war as a tool to serve their financial and political interests. Every major conflict, from World War I to modern proxy wars, has been engineered to expand their dominance. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers have been the masterminds behind wars that have claimed millions of lives, ensuring that chaos breeds profit and control. One of the most glaring examples of this manipulation was the 9/11 attacks, a carefully orchestrated event that served as the pretext for the invasion of Iraq and the subsequent destabilization of oil-rich Middle Eastern nations. The cabal's goal was twofold: to secure energy resources and to establish a permanent military presence in the region, all while feeding the military-industrial complex they control. The destruction, suffering, and economic devastation caused by these manufactured wars mean nothing to them. Their only concern is maintaining their grip on global power. Elections, the ultimate deception. The illusion of democracy is the most powerful tool in the elite's arsenal. Elections serve not to empower the people, but to manufacture consent, making the public believe they have a choice when, in reality, every candidate presented to them is pre-approved by the cabal. This strategy ensures that, regardless of who wins, the ultimate control remains unchanged. Conclusion: the unseen hand. The rise of Erdogan, Putin, Trump, and Milei exemplifies a historical pattern in which leaders are selected, trained, and positioned by the same hidden forces that have shaped global events for centuries. Their apparent independence is but a carefully crafted illusion, designed to maintain the structures of power while keeping the masses distracted by the theater of politics. More insidiously, the cabal's use of war ensures that populations remain in perpetual fear, allowing them to tighten their grip over nations and economies. Additionally, through institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, and the UN, the cabal ensures that entire nations are locked in cycles of debt and dependency. These organizations, masquerading as instruments of global stability, are in fact the very tools used to invade and enslave countries, extracting wealth and natural resources while subjecting populations to economic and political servitude. To understand the true nature of governance, one must look beyond the ballot box and into the hands of those who control the pieces on this Machiavellian chessboard.